Hey friends, it's Romania Black, and look, eight's my lucky number, and I just happened to look down at the timer of how long this episode is, and we're getting 3 more minutes! Oh my god! Oh, 3 minutes! Lots could happen in 3 minutes. It's Romania Black, we're on episode 8 of Word of Honor, and eight's my lucky number. We're getting 3 extra minutes this week. Lots of things could happen. So, and the last 2 episodes have been amazing. So we just need to dive right into it, because I got a lot of comments to talk about before we start, mainly involving episode 5 and episode 6. So we're gonna cut back to those. But yeah, oh my god, episode 6 and 7 have been incredible. And if it's all uphill from here, I'm ready. My body is ready, even though my brain and my soul may not be. My body is ready. So let's dive in. One thing I do want to make note of, I did not mention last week when we were talking about all the ghosts in the Ghost Valley, and I was re-listening to the discussion for episode 7 today, just to prep myself for this week, because there's a lot of characters to keep track of, and I forgot to put Liu as the alluring ghost on Whiteboard Coon. So if we go back to Whiteboard Coon, which we probably will, I'm going to have to add the alluring ghost over there. But apparently there are some changes in the script that Be Happy has spoiler tagged that when I'm done with this episode, I need to go to the Discord and access. So there are those. But let's dive in. So Pancake, as well as Heather Hollenbrook and XXYZ, talked about with episode 5 on the Discord and in the comments that when Zhou Jishu, when our dear ZZS, calls Wen Kexing Lao Wen, Lao refers to old. It's like a nickname, but its meaning is used in China as a way of referencing someone you're close with, but it can commonly be used to reference a husband and wife. So yeah, like a wife calling their husband Lao, like oh, mom and pop, which in the American vernacular creeps me out, but it's fine. But so they noticed in episode 6's beginning that Zhao uses it when talking to Wen Kexing in the drunk dream state, but in the restaurant, he's like, we're not close. Sure, Jan. Yeah, I noticed that. I was like, yeah, whenever Zhao uses it in episode 5 while Wen Kexing's in the drunk dream state, and then they go to the restaurant, and he's like, well, we're not really that close. I'm like, bullshit, you're not that close. Nice try, Zhao. Good try, beggar man. Old sick ghoul. But anyway, I'm glad that was pointed out. XXYZ also noted that, I don't know if you noticed, but at this point in episode 5, Zhao has called Wen Kexing by 4 different names. Master Wen, Brother Wen, Philanthropist Wen, and Lao Wen. You can more or less tell how he feels about Wen Kexing, or how much he's letting his guard down, and when he wants to create more distance based on which name he uses. He's been doing that since they met, and it's pretty interesting if you pay attention to it. Yeah, I like that, because Wen Kexing just calls him Aju, and that's it. And that's all he really says. But then, because Zhao has to be complicated, you can determine like if he wants to distance himself or not based on his nickname for Wen Kexing, and I think it's amazing. XXYZ also says, I like how Wen Kexing just reuses compliments when he's trying to suck up to people, but nobody cares because he's so charming. Zhao Jing definitely heard him say the exact same thing to both Shin Shin and Yu Chu Fong, the guy with the mustache and the goatee, and possibly a dozen other people as well, but he didn't say anything. Yeah, no, Wen Kexing is just so charming that people just let it go right by, which, could be a commentary on things in itself. And also, XXYZ says, I'm just noticing on rewatch, but Zhao tends to avoid direct eye contact with Wen Kexing, like when he asks Wen Kexing who he is while looking vaguely towards the ground. Probably how he's been able to resist him until now. I know, right? It's like the more he looks at him, the more he gets drawn into his spell. That's what he wants. And then finally they say, I think the censors were pretty lax because they didn't expect this to become popular. My understanding of how Chinese censors work is that they're not that strict if they don't expect a lot of people to see it. So theoretically, if BL was a much smaller niche, we could have more with less censors. But Pancake kind of added on to that, saying that they heard that they even aired the episodes as fast as possible. This is genius, to avoid discussion online. Because if they release episodes at a normal pace, people can discuss each episode online, making it more popular. Instead, they pushed out as many episodes as possible, so people had to catch up and silence the discussion. Also, if they get everything out and it gets taken down, then people would still have downloaded them all already. And I really appreciate their effort. I do too. Oh my God. I was like, that makes so much sense. It's so genius, and more power to them. I'm having the time of my life with the series. It is great. Pancake also says, I love how Zhao went from, I don't care about who you are and where you're from the last episode, in episode 4, to now directly asking when keshing already. I mean, who can resist? And then people are also dying like flies here. I remember being like, oh, they have their name on the screen. They're probably important characters I need to remember. And then they just straight up die in the next scene. Yeah, I told Pancake that honestly, I don't feel too bad not keeping total track of everyone, because they may get introduced and then 2 scenes later be dead. So I feel as if those characters are important, they will keep showing up and we will eventually get their names down if they become a someone of direct consequence. And so then Anime Annie says for episode 5, Zhao Jin having peacocks and no peahens could, as is likely, an aesthetic choice. Thus, all his use of color and richness in the decoration of his home. But it does make me think of some BL where there are no female characters or an extreme dearth of them. Yeah, because only male peacocks are the pretty colorful ones. The peahens are pretty bland. So yeah, I totally agree with that. I love that kind of little symbolism there. Also, though, I am glad that Word of Honor has a plethora of really badass and awesome female characters. So that's been a nice little change of pace from MXTX days. And then Anime Annie says, I believe the main instrument used for the creepy music is an erhu. It's one of my favorite Chinese instruments and can produce such amazing music for something that only has 2 strings. Yeah, the music in these last couple of episodes has been gorgeous. And then they finish out by saying, if I remember right, the paper animals from the coffin house are used as part of funeral ceremonies. They are offerings made to liberate a soul from purgatory or fulfill the needs of the soul in the underworld. Just like the paper money that is often burned in as offerings, I believe the animals and other items are only used during the funeral ceremony itself, whereas the paper money is also burned in remembrance of the dead on significant days for the dead. Just the paper mache animals are so cool. I love them so much. And then finally, several people have told me this as well, but Be Happy said it in their comment on Discord. They said, a little tidbit of trivia. Scorpion King actor Lai Daikun was cast to play Wen Kexing at first. After the difficulties the show had of getting on because of the epidemic, he stepped down, saying that he didn't feel or find himself in Wen Kexing and asked to play the Scorpion King instead. Honestly, though, I went back and watched the episode. I totally can see the Scorpion King's actor, Lee Daikun, playing Wen Kexing, because Wen Kexing has had moments where he's shown himself as being a little bit more serious and a little bit more menacing. So I could totally see him playing Wen Kexing, but I don't know if I could see Wen Kexing playing the Scorpion King. I don't know if I could see Gong Jun's actor, if I could see him playing the Scorpion King. So I'm kind of glad it worked out the way that it did, because they both look amazing in their respective roles. And so far, they've both been like knocking it out of the park. So it happened for a reason, right? All things, there are a means and a hand of fate behind it, right? So yeah, I've talked for nearly 10 minutes. I'm super excited. Before we start, I do want to say a very quick thank you to the philanthropy tier over on Patreon. A special thanks to Reiki, who has downloaded these episodes for me to watch. And then also to those in the Patreon philanthropy tier. We've got a couple new members, so I want to give them a shout out. So thank you, Alex Cornejo, Anime Annie, to our moderator, Be Happy, to Bryant Reed, to Dana, to Damage3245, to Danger Zone, to Alexandra Q, to Devorin, to Destiny Marie, to Ichu, Eric, Fisho, Ghostly Turnip, Elfreya, Liam Polzel, as well as Lyndon, Matthew Palfinier, Murphew, Adam Perez, Nicholas, Nago, Sunspots, Shimoyama, Trails, Translucent Men, and Starman AA. Thank you all so much for your support. I greatly appreciate it. All of my love. So yeah, we're gonna have to go back and look at the dub versus sub lines when we get to it, but I've talked for nearly 10 minutes. I've got my coffee ready. My dogs, usually after they have a bone, Huckleberry gets a little bit grumbly, but he might have calmed down now. So, in any case, I'm so excited, y'all. It makes my Mondays so happy to be watching Word of Honor. It just makes my Mondays so good. So, and we get 3 extra minutes. So, we are going to be starting at the 1 minute 48 second mark. If you need to tune, I'll adjust the timer as per usual. But we're going to start episode 8, lucky number 8 of Word of Honor. And we're going to do that here in 3, 2, 1, and let's go. Oh, oh, it's daytime. Oh, look at Chengling. I like him in the green. Super cute. Oh, Shin just looks like he's always ready to just run or jump through a window. All right, son, don't worry. I got all the chicken legs you could ever afford to eat. We'll get you beefed up in no time, sir. Yeah. Are you looking for the piece of the glazed armor? Well, I was stabbed. Oh, leave him alone. Oh. How's he gonna marry my daughter if he ain't bench pressing 250 like Shin said? Oh my God. He's like, gee, thanks. Wow, no pressure. No pressure, kid. Just bulk up. He's like, well, you just insulted me, so. Oh! Excuse me? The thing you told the Window of Heaven man you knew nothing about? Oh. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Oh, bitch. Oh, bitch. Well. Oh, wow. Chingling's like, excuse me. That's a bit insulting to his family. Oh, sir. Shin! What? No! Oh my God! You're ganging up on a 15-year-old saint! Oh! They're gonna throw hands with this 15-year-old. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Well, you just insulted my dead dad and brothers and myself, so no. Oh, bitch. Oh! Oh, you wagged that finger in his face! Oh my God! Bitch, what? Oh! Don't you hit that little lamb! What? Oh my God! Oh! Gao! Are you kidding? Oh, you may leave! Holy shit! That went from 0 to 10 in like a second. Oh, okay. Excuse me. Fifth brother, man, your efforts. You are trying. Shin. Oh, he's the second brother. Well, okay. He's like, bitch. He's like, will you do something to help me? Oh. He was about to bitch slap him. So yes, I think he would. Did you see he was about to raise a hand to him? Yeah. What? Oh. Oh. Oh, Zhao. Mm. Oh. Zhao Zhu. Oh, little Zhao. The strictest. Ooh. That's not how Wen Kexing described him. Oh my god. Oh, look at you. The most useless in my sect. Oh. When Kexing's like, I don't know if I like you being the talkative one. Oh, oh Zhao, you were gonna egg this on because you know it drives Wen Kexing crazy. Ah! A breath of fresh air. Oh my god, Wen Kexing, the dad energy. Oh my god, I love it. Ah! Yeah. He's like, shit, I hate that you're right. Ah! Oh. Oh. He's like, oh, he's like, you doubt my daughter? Oh, bitch. Oh, bitch. Oh, Zhao is having the time of his life. Oh. No. No. Oh. Oh. Oh, I love it. Love this combo. Love this dynamic. Oh my god. He's the most precious bean. Oh. Ah! He's so smitten. Ah! He's the most smitten. It's so cute. Look at him. She's like, I mean, show something. His eyes are so brown. His eyes are so light. 32% interest. Oh, that's what she wants. Oh my gosh, she's like, take me on a date, bitch. Ah! Oh. Oh, they have so much in common. They both love to eat food. She's like, yay, it's a date. Oh, yay. When Keshi's like, I'm going to drink away my struggles. Oh. A large rabbit. I love it. Oh. Oh, I was gonna say we're gonna bring this up. He's like, you were not like that to me, but you're like that to him. What's up, man? Uh-huh. Your silly disciple. Oh. Uh-huh. Oh. Aren't I considerate? Mm. Hmm. Are you satisfied with him, though? The ungrateful pair. Ooh. Oh, me? Have other motives? I'm philanthropist Win. Oh. That's something for him to say to him. It's funny he says that. Ooh. Oh, wow. Interesting. Oh. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Are you? Oh. Interesting. No regrets. Oh. Oh, bitch. The flirting, their love language. Oh. He was walking at a decent pace, sir. He's like, leave me alone, bitch. I know how to get back to my room. Everybody needs to get their hands off of Changling very quickly. Oh. Hey, girl. Oh. She's like, I can take him over there, actually. Yeah. Yeah, bitch. Get it. Get it. I actually do support them as a pair. Changling is like, I have no time for bullshit. Changling looks like he's over this shit so much. Well, I don't know about that. Ooh, look how sassy he looks. Oh. Changling. You could put a little more thrust into that punch there, sir. Oh. 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 Oh, showers. Okay, okay, okay. Oh my god. But Changling knows Zhang, so... Oh. Oh, she is very cute. And she has a little bit more personality to her in this episode. Changling is like, awesome. Everyone is doubting me. This poor child. Justice for Changling! It's a girl! Did you know that? She's like, I could tell. Oh. Oh. She's like, oh. Friend! She's like, yes! We're actually foodies. I love that she's kind of like, have you wrangled in my golden retriever of a sect member? She's like, thanks! Is the cult ready? Get the Kool-Aid! She's like, what's this? Guzhang's like, did I just join a cult? I know that there's probably a deeper cultural significance to that, and I don't mean to insult anyone's religion, but it would be funny if this was a cult. Oh, Wei Ning is so cute. He's the most precious golden retriever. Get your balls on a stick. Oh, the fan just. Oh. Do you? Oh. 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 No, you couldn't look him in the face. Uh-huh. Oh. He's like, shit. Because I'm in love with you. I don't know. Oh. Oh. Yeah. That's a good question, actually. That little pat. Uh-huh. Hmm. Oh. That guy stopped in the background there. Oh. Okay. Uh-huh. And he has a connection to them. Oh, the lanterns. Is that a signal too? Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Oh. Yeah. Oh. Oh, well then what's the urgent news? Oh, shit. No, that's not good. That's not good. No, nope, not good. Not good, Cotton. She was like, did I miss something? Did I tell you the right thing? Yeah. Is this a setup? Are they going to try to hurt Changling? Oh, we're already getting a song. This is going to be a scene. Oh, wow. What is this monument? Are you going to try to sacrifice Changling? You better not. Let me set the stage for you, kid. Picture it. Sicily. 1475. Oh. Uh-huh. But there's only three to imitate. Who imitated twice? Uh-huh. Aww. Aww. He's precious. Don't you hurt Changling. You leave him alone. If you live past today. Aww. Aww. Ooh. He's like, go on, compliment me more, please. On your behalf. Okay. Hmm. Okay. Oh, I thought he was gonna like try to attack him. Maybe he's not as evil as his first impression would have us believe. This is ambush central. This is like the most ambushy of ambushies. Oh, well, fudge. Speaking of which. Not a flyaway out of place, sir, Han. Oh, would you now? Or else what? Oh, well, or that. Or that. Oh, fudge, muffin. Oh. Oh. Oh, shit. Well, shit. Oh, okay. Oh. Changling's like, I really don't want to be in the middle of this again. Everybody in this glazed armor that you said you knew nothing about. Oh, okay. And there they are. Oh my god. Oh. Uh-huh. Oh. Ooh. Oh. Ooh. Well, a ghost could maybe. Oh! He's like, I'm not answering the question! Oh, sweetheart. Oh, oh shit, really? Oh my gosh! Oh, oh, what is this? Roadrunner, what we doing? Oh! 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 Oh, 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 when Keshing's like, I will snap your neck, bitch. Until next time! Little officer! Oh, bitch! Oh, bitch! Oh, sweetheart. Oh. What is this gonna lead to? What we do with this? I love their dainty veils. Their veil bandanas. Uh-huh. Does he know him? Does he know it's him? Oh. Oh. Because he knows him. Fuck. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. And when Keshing's like, wait a minute, wait, what? Oh. When Keshing's like, oh, wow. Oh, wow. Okay. Should I leave? Oh! Oh! Yeah, now he knows. Uh-huh. When Keshing's piecing this all together. Ooh. Uh-huh. No. Okay. Ooh. Ooh. When Keshi knows all the things now. He's like, okay. Little Anthony called it that anyway! Oh. Ooh. Oh. Oh. Okay. Ooh. Oh. Oh, bitch. Ooh. Uh-huh. Okay. Meanwhile, Wei Ning. Or no, no, no. Oh. Oh, that's Boozy. Yeah. I like that we keep the purple so we can distinguish a little bit. But that's the fake, isn't it? Is it though? Is it though? Right. Well, I don't believe so. Oh, bitch. Oh, bitch. Oh, what? Oh my god, so much has happened. So. Hmm. Oh. Uh-huh. Uh. And he's like, really? I love he calls him Lao Wen then. Mmm. I like that instead. Mmm. Yeah. Oh. Ooh. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Well, is he though? Well, he's like, I might. Uh-huh. Oh. 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 Yes. He's calling you La Win. Oh. Only as a friend. Oh my God. Oh. Because you're afraid to know what he sees you as. Oh, bullshit. 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 Oh, he's playing so hard to get. Ah. Don't give up when cashing. We're rooting for you. We're rooting for you. Ah. Oh my God. Oh. Ah. Ah. Oh. Oh, he did. Bitch, what? Who came in first? Ah! Oh. He didn't pay for it. He didn't pay for it. Oh my God. And Zhao's like, fudge. I'm going to end up paying for everything, aren't I? He's like, I don't have all this money. He's like, oh, son of a bitch. Oh. Does when Keshing eat when he's in love? Do you want an indirect kiss, please? Oh. Oh! Uh-huh. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh! 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 In a mellow manner. Oh my God. Ah! Oh. Ooh, interesting. He's like, really? Really? Oh, well, he's dead, but okay, maybe. Okay. I bold words, sir. Well, what about that one woman that disappeared from the table last episode? Could she be in here? She had a veil on. Ah! Shao looks like he'd rather be. Well, no. Ah! That smile. He's like, okay, sure. I love that when Keshing's like, come on. He's like, sure. Interesting. What if one of the assassin women is like among them? What? Oh! Oh, what if? What if? What if one of the assassins is there? Uh-huh. Oh, okay. Do they know? Is he the assassin? It's been a couple weeks since I've seen that episode. Oh, is she going to get in the box and disappear? I love how Gong Jun makes Wen Kexing look like, I don't know what'll happen. He's so innocent. Zhao is like, something is going to go wrong. And, oh. Look at Wen Kexing's face! Look at his face! Oh, with the clapping! And Xiao is like, oh my god. Oh, what is this? Oh, fuck! Oh, what? 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 There was just a bunch of heads. Uh-huh. What? Hmm. Uh-huh. Oh. What disciple? Hmm. Uh-huh. Bitch. Oh my god. This episode's been amazing. Oh shit. Was it the Ghost Valley though? Was it the Ghost Valley? Oh my god. Oh, you would swear, Shinshin. You would swear. You would. I want to see it. Show us everything. I know they have to censor it. Show us the gore. Oh, man. I'm so curious. Wait for a while right here. It's an indefinite amount of time. The queue is, you know, quite long, as you can see. Oh. Oh. We're looking for you guys. Oh. Well, we were making out behind a tree, sir. Uh-huh. Well, I had left a note. Why didn't you read it? Mmm. Oh. Okay, so that's Zhao Xing. Zhao Xing is him. Okay. Of course. Oh, I love that. I love when Kexing smile like, oh, benefactors. You're sure you can say that. Oh. Oh. Oh ho ho ho. Those robes look familiar. Oh. Ooh. Does he have beef with him? Does he have beef with him? Oh, bitch! Oh, bitch! Oh, ho, 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 ho! I am so intrigued. I bet you will. Yeah, he looks very strange. He looks like he's pissed. Oh. I have theories. I have ideas. Oh, yeah. Is he? Is he? Oh. Are you a nurse? Hmm. Interesting. Oh. Oh, is that the case? Oh! Oh, bitch. Oh, bitch. Oh, bitch. He. Ooh! 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 They've killed someone again! Oh my god! Oh, bitch! Oh, are you joking? Are you freaking kidding me? Holy cow! Holy cow! Oh, oh, ha, ha. Is there an end credit scene? I don't think there's an end credit scene. No, I think we just got the end of it. Oh my god! What? I'm fine. Everything's fine. It's fine. This eighth episode was just, oh my god! I'm so sorry. I'm sorry about your ears. I'm sorry about your ears, but I'm not sorry about how amazing. What was this episode? What was this episode? What? Hi, WEN KEXING. I have lots of thoughts. I'm just over the moon for these characters. So I added the alluring ghost on here. We can take Fang Bougie off of here because he bye. Bye, good to know you, nice to know you. It's like a Foo Fighters song, or pleased to meet you, nice to know you, goodbye. Like, so yeah, let's talk about this episode. We got some extra moments here. There was a lot of shit that went down. There's a lot of stuff that went down. Also, can we talk about how this episode was mainly, let's just make Changling feel terrible for 40 minutes? This poor lamb. This kid, Changling is interesting because Changling, the glazed armor part is so, I'm very curious about it, honestly. There's a part of me that would love if like the glazed armor just wasn't anywhere, that it was just gone and that was it. There's a part of me that would love that. And then there's another part of me that's thinking like, is Changling hiding the glazed armor? Does he actually have it hidden within his person? And when he kept going and like reaching down and grabbing like the hem of his robes because he was getting pissed at old Gao here, there was a part of me that was like, does he have the glazed armor like in his wound inside of him? Is that a thing? Or does he not have the glazed armor on him? Or did someone else take him? But I'm so fascinated by what the whole deal with the Mirror Lake glazed armor piece is, because that's the piece that everybody's looking for, because it's the one they don't have in check. And it's like, okay, except Al Lazi's, his piece, the Ghost Valley has theoretically, right? They have it now. So it's like, there's also all this discussion in the episode about how bad the Ghost Valley is and how this is all their doings. But as we saw in that one dance scene, I'm pretty sure that it was the assassins, that it was the Scorpions that were the ones responsible, that were blaming the Five Lakes Alliance. But it's hilarious because the Five Lakes Alliance are blaming the Ghost Valley when it could be the assassins. So the wrong people are getting blamed for the wrong thing. It feels like the Ghost Valley is being a convenient scapegoat for all things bad. And I'm wondering if that has been the case for a while. Maybe even back at the beginning of all this. I also have a theory about WEN KEXING, and I doubt it's right. I'm like only 20% convinced, but it's a crazy theory. But I have it because WEN KEXING hates Gao. Like his whole demeanor was like, I don't like you. And I was like, but why don't you like him? And so I have a theory, but we'll get to it. We have a long way to go. But Gao is interesting. I don't know how to read him because in this opening scene, he's just kind of a prick to Changling. They all gang up on Changling. Zhao Jing is the only one that's not being a prick. And he's just kind of a pacifist. It's like, now leave the kid alone. He's got some trauma and memory loss. And Shin's like, can he bench press 250? And it's like, leave him alone. I want to be like that. I want to be like the person who has the Britney Spears meme. It's like, leave Britney alone. I just want to be like, leave Changling alone. He's just a boy. He's just a baby. I just want to like cuddle him and cradle him in my arms and whisk him away from these people trying to manipulate him. Poor Changling. He asked for none of these things. This poor kid has been shuffled around like someone in the damn U.S. foster care system. And he was just like, I want justice for Changling. I need justice for Changling because this kid has done nothing wrong. And he's lost his father and his two brothers. He probably lost his mom from before, from what it sounds like. He's an orphan, as they call him. And he has nobody except for his master, who's like off with WEN KEXING. And he just wants to have a little bit of peace. And he doesn't know what's going on. He's been, raised as a spoiled, kind of naive kid. And now he's like figuring out that, oh, I know why my dad didn't hang out with any of you guys, because you're all shady bitches. It's like, oh my God. Yeah. Even Zhao Jing, I don't trust at all. Like, I don't trust Shin. I don't trust Zhao Jing. I definitely don't trust Gao. All of them are shady, manipulative bitches. The fourth one or whatever, I can't keep track of which brother is which, because I kept thinking Zhao Jing was the fifth brother, and then Shin said he was the second brother, and I was like, But anyway, two of the Five Lake Alliance brothers are dead, and the three that are left are shady as F. I also think it's interesting when they take them to the monument, they talk about how they were imitating the three we'll talk about that, but they were imitating three Buddhist people, but there was five of them, and now there's only three. Funny that. So I'm just like, I feel for Changling because he just doesn't know what's going on, and he's caught in the middle of this political intrigue, and he's like, I don't know what the glazed armor is. He's like, I don't know what this is. I also feel bad for him because the first thing Gao does when he comes down to see him is he grips him by the shoulder. He's like, you're a weakling. And I'm like, oh my God, what did Changling do to you, sir? He's like, how can you marry my daughter if you're going to be this weak ass kid? And I'm like, damn. I'm like, come on, toxic masculinity. Like, oh my God, I feel so bad for Changling. Also, I am rescinding part of what I said last week. Last week, I was wondering if Changling and Guzhang could be a ship. I really like Changling and the daughter, like Gao's daughter. I think they could be a fun ship. Guzhang and Xiao are like, they're my jam. I don't think it's going to be in game, I think, but I would kind of like it to be because Guzhang's a little foodie. He's a little foodie. They both share their love of food. Just Wen Kexing, when you've married Zhao Zhishu and you guys are off on your honeymoon, just give Guzhang and Zhao Weining your boat and let them go tour the world and go on like a tour of the countryside and eat all the food dishes. I think this is fair. But yeah, Gao is really hard to read because he chides at Changling and tells him how weak he is. And Zhao Jing tries to stand up for him. And he's like, oh, he's an adult. He's 15 years old. When I was 15 years old, I was practically killing people left and right. And Changling's like, what do I do? And then basically I feel bad because everybody, every time that Gao sees Changling, all he talks about is how no one else respects Changling and they think he's a weakling who is unable to take control of his father's sect. And Changling's like, well, nobody asked what I think about any of this. And I feel so bad for him. But then the daughter is like, oh, my dad, he has a soft heart, but he's just got a hard exterior. And I'm like, that hard exterior has done nothing but like tear down Changling this entire episode. So maybe he does, but damn. So then in this discussion, he like confronts Changling and questions whether he's man enough to be like his dad's successor. And then he basically is like, okay, give me the glazed armor since you're not worthy of it. And then Zhao Jing's like, look, we've already tried to get the glazed armor from him. He says he doesn't know where it is. So, and he has this temporary memory loss. And Gao's like, well, that's bullshit, which I do believe that. I don't think he has temporary memory loss at all. I think he either legit doesn't know where it is or he's lying. But at this point, I'm honestly not entirely sure because Changling puts on a very good front of someone that has no clue what's going on. So there is a part of me that believes that Changling, I'm kind of 50-50 torn though. There's a part of me that feels Changling has no clue where the glazed armor is. He doesn't know what's going on. He's like, y'all are seesawing and tearing me apart like a Stretch Armstrong. And he's like, I don't know. But then there's another part of me that thinks that Changling does know, but he doesn't know all the details, and so he doesn't want to say anything. So it is kind of hard to navigate, but Gao getting all frustrated, and then Shin is just a volcano. Shin is just going to choose violence every single time, and is just going to get in the middle of things for no reason. He just makes it his business to get up in there. But when Gao says, he's like, do you want your father and family to have died for nothing? Like, you can see Changling getting pissed. Because Changling's like, excuse me, you weren't there. Don't insult my dad and my brothers. How dare you? Like, Changling getting pissed, I felt for him. And he's like, I have no clue where it is. And then when Gao, like, almost hits him and, like, raises his hand, I'm like, if I were Changling, I wouldn't want to work with any of you bitches. Oh my God. It's insane. And they're like, hurry up and tell us where it is. And then Gao says, I know. He says, your father hadn't interacted with his brothers from the Five Lake Alliance in many years, so you don't trust us. But you have no other choice, kid. And I know the translation and the subtitles may be a little bit off, but it was very apparent from the opening episodes when Shin showed up that Changling did not trust him. So obviously Yusin did not have a good, strong relationship with these three shady bitches. We don't know about the other one from the other sect because he did. But it's like, maybe there was a reason behind that. And we're kind of seeing there might have been a reason behind that. And Changling, you know, you can't blame him for wanting to honor his dad's memory by being like, my dad wasn't friends with you all, and maybe there was a reason, and now I'm finding that reason out. Because if I were Changling, I would want nothing to do with any of these. Maybe Zhao Jing, but Zhao Jing is kind of spineless. So, but it's wild. It is wild how they just completely throw Changling around like a damn rag doll and then make him leave. And yeah, he talks about having like no patience, and he's like, you know, people are going to suffer if you don't hand over the glazed armor. And Changling is like, I don't know where it is. And I want to say that I believe him. I really do. And so then they send him away. I like that after Gao yells at him and basically like calls him worthless, he's like, okay, you can leave. It's like, there's a lot of stress, a lot of high tensions with the Five Lake Alliance right now. A lot of tensions going on. And they're trying to figure out what to do. And Shinshin's like, you should make the kid. He's like, fourth brother's case broke eldest brother's heart completely. He's like, how are you so bold to mention him anyway? And he's like, look, I was pitying the child. And then I like that Xiaoling is like, well, you know, we should treat Changling better because he's going to have to eventually live here. And Shinshin's like, oh, you think he's living? Shinshin's like, oh, wait, no. He says, you're wrong again. He says, even if Gao was angry, would he really take it out on the child? I'm like, I don't know. He nearly slapped him. I think he would. He kind of almost did. Shinshin, were you not watching the scene unfold before your very eyes? And Shinshin's like, oh, you've underestimated his heart. And so I'm like, okay. I don't know. Shinshin and the daughter are like, Gao would never. But we literally saw him about do it. So, and he kind of lied to the, window of heaven. So, I don't know. I feel like this show is interesting because it really paints such layered views of these characters that you can't just say, oh, well, Shinshin's like this, and Zhao Jing is like this, and Gao is like this. There's a lot of layers to them, and we're peeling them back slowly, but there are funny aspects about these characters that you can instantly point out, but that's not all there is to them, and I think that's interesting. Anyway, this whole scene in the diner with Zhao Weining is so good. It is so good. It is, my interactions, Gong Jun's acting in this episode, I don't know what the Chinese equivalents of the Academy Awards are, if they exist, or their equivalent of the Emmys are, if they exist. He deserves all of the awards because his facial expressions and the range of emotions he conveys in this episode alone. What more do you want? What more do you want? So Zhao is like, I was in an awkward situation today. He's like, but I was a stranger, but you still gave up your own money to help me. And my favorite part about this is just how Zhao and Wen Kexing act, the way that it's almost like flirting. It's almost their flirting. Wen Kexing is just so over Weining. He's just so over Weining. He's like, oh my God, this kid, he has a crush on my daughter. I don't like it. I don't think he's good enough for her. She's out of his league. And Zhao Jishu is like, so this kid's got a crush on your daughter, huh? And Zhao just wants, I feel like because Wen Kexing, he puts on such a facade in front of Zhao Jishu because he likes Zhao Jishu and he doesn't want Zhao Jishu to think less of him. He doesn't want to see the vulnerability in him yet, right? Which we're all like, ugh. So he puts on this like facade of like, I am perfectly happy. I'm philanthropist Wen. I just have all of the kind philosophical things to say and all the poetry to cite, and I'm just perfect. And the moment that Zhao Weining just kind of puts a crack in that veneer, Weining just like cracks the shell around Wen Kexing, and Zhao notices it, and he's like, I want to see more of this. I feel like Zhao wants to see Wen Kexing reveal more of his true self. And he's like, I live in the Yu Yang sect. It's not far. He's like, oh, could you wait here? And I'll be back soon. His eyes are such a light brown. They're beautiful. They're like chocolate. They're like when the sun shine, when he was outside, because Gu Zhang's actress has such dark brown eyes, like almost black brown eyes. But whenever they get out in the sunlight and the sun just reflects off of Wei Ning's eyes, they're so vivid and vibrant. I love them. And he's like, oh, well, our meeting was fate. He's like, money's only possession. And now here's the thing. And I think this is why when Kexing gets old Zhao to buy him all the things in the street fair, because he's trying to like poke at him a little bit, being like, oh, you just told Wei Ning that money was just a possession, that it's okay if we spend the money on his food. So when I buy food, why is it a big deal? The reason why it's a big deal is because Zhao is a tsundere and he loves Wen Kexing, but he doesn't want to admit it. And Wen Kexing doesn't understand that about him yet. And we're all just like, ah! So he's like, well, it's so interesting to see Wen Kexing watch someone else pour on the fake charm, because all throughout that banquet scene, that's all that Wen Kexing did was put on the fake charm, fake charm, fake charm, fake charm, bullshit, 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 as Sarah Marshall would say. And now we get to see Zhao do it, and Wen Kexing gets to see it from the outside perspective, and he's like, you're never like this. What is this? And he's like, well, isn't it better if we meet a new friend? And Wen Kexing's like, but does it have to be him? Does it have to be this guy? He's like, I'm Zhao Zhu. What's your name, friend? And he's like, oh, well, my surname is Xiao, but I'm Zhao Wei Ning. I'm going to have to call him Wei Ning because I know I'm mispronouncing his last name. The C sounds and the Z sounds, I know it's Sao. I know the Z is like zhe. I don't get the pronunciations right, but maybe I want to see if I can get this right. I know that the translate online is not going to be correct, but maybe let me go on here and just do Chinese. Would it be under that or Mandarin? Okay, traditional, we'll go with it. How are they going to say that? Sao. So it's like a S sound, like a sow. Okay, because then we have, so Sao.
Zhou.
And Zhou. Have I been saying his name wrong the whole time? Zhou Jishu?
Zhou.
I've been saying Zhao and it's Zhou. It's Zhou Jishu. Because it's Zhao Jing, right? Am I right? I'm going to look right?
Zhao.
Yeah, so it's Zhao Jing and Zhou. Zhou Jishu. Zhou. Wen Kexing and Zhou. Well, I'm going to try to correct that now. But Sao. So Sao Wei Ning. He's like, I'm from the Gentle Wind Sword sect. I really love that the Gentle Wind are known as foxes, because that's such a clever thing. Like your sect name is Gentle Wind Sword. We're like, oh, we're just a Gentle Wind Sword. And stab you, and like, because they're foxes. But I love that they call Sao Wei Ning the rabbit among the foxes. He's the sweet, gentle one. They're like, where'd he come from? And they're like, well, stranger things have happened, right, man? So he's a disciple. And they're like, oh, well, they're very strict in choosing their disciples. And he's like, I like that Wen Kexing is just like, what are we doing? And he's like, oh, well, they're handsome, well-educated, and well-trained. It almost feels like Zhou he is basically being like, oh, well, Wei Ning, I've heard that only the disciples of your sect are among the most handsome and well-educated and well-trained in martial arts. Like a perfect husband material for Gu Zhang. Am I right, Wen Kexing? And Wen Kexing's like, are you freaking kidding me? I love it. It's like his way of poking fun. And he just smiles and he acts all courteous. And then Wen Kexing's like, why can't you be that way around me? I seriously think Wen Kexing the whole time is thinking, why are you being all nice? You're nice to Wei Ning. You're nice to the Han Jing guy from the Heaven Window. You're not that way around me. Why is that? Because we're only in episode 8, Wen Kexing. We have to wait towards the end before he gets that way around you. Come on now. He can't reveal his true feelings. And I like that Gu Zhang's like, are you going to stay and eat? And he's like, okay, sure. He's like, oh, Brother Zhou, you're such a straightforward breath of fresh air. And I love that and he looks over Wen Kexing. Wen Kexing's like, I am the last thing you will compare to a breath of fresh air around you. And he's like, I'll drink with Brother Zhou because he's nice. So then I like that he like tells Gu Zhang to get close. And he's like, kick him out. And Gu Zhang's like, no. He can help me. She's like, he can help me get into the Yu Yang sect. And then he goes, fine. Fine. He's like, I need you to help me find that Fang Bougie. And then, of course, Sao's like, well, you know, he's pretty strong. Now, when he says that Zhang is just a girl, when Kexing's like, we've talked about this. And Gu Zhang is like, well, are you looking down on girls? And he's like, oh, no, I like girls. Girls are great. I love girls. I love women. It's like, so he's like, I could go with you. And when Kexing's like, ugh, I guess. I love that Zhou is like, Zhou is approving of this so much. And he's like, look, making friends is mostly about compatibility. And when Kexing's like, nope, you know what? We were invited here by Zhao Jing. When we're done, we'll definitely go visit with you. And I like that he looks at Gu Zhang and is like, if you can't find my wallet, don't come back. So serious. She goes, fine. And then I like that Gu Zhang says, when you need help, you find Zhang Wuyang. When you don't, you frolic around with others and forget her existence. Zhang Wuyang was a highly intelligent queen, but was regarded as one of the 4 ugliest women in Chinese history. Oh! I like that, So what she's saying there, she's like, when you need help, you come get me. But you know what? Meanwhile, you're frolicking around with Zhou. I see how it is. I see it as you only need me you only want me when it's convenient. Now, when Gu Zhang and him stick their tongues out at each other, and they're like, meh, and he's like, eh. In that moment, Zhou like twinges and looks away and shudders. I'm like, are you thinking of what that tongue would look like around something else, sir? I'm just saying. That's what I was thinking. That mouth opened up pretty wide for you, didn't it, sir? I'm going to not be vulgar. Mind gutter. No. We're going to get out of this. So yeah, anyway, Wei Ning leaves and they go out. I love they go on this cute little date and she's like, show me around town. Show me all the food. Wei Ning is so crushing. He's crushing on Gu Zhang. Good for him. I love him and Gu Zhang together. They're foodies. He's like a little sweet rabbit. She is like a saber-toothed tiger. It is the best combination and I am living for it. I love them. I love them together so much. It is so practically adorable. But yeah, his eyes are so vibrant. I love it. So anyway, we go back to the drinking with Zhou and Wen Kexing. And they're like, a cunning old fox. Why did he cultivate a large rabbit in his den? And when Kexing says, if you live long enough, you'll come across every strange occurrence. So curious. He's like, for example, there was a certain person who was cold and unsmiling towards his own friend, which means Wen Kexing. But he's like, around these other people, when facing a new acquainted young warrior from a famous sect, he speaks warmly and intimately. What I love about the two of them is they are polar opposites in that Wen Kexing presents himself as this charming and alluring and I'm totally benevolent, would never do anything wrong. But we've seen under the surface him literally slaughter an entire gang of people and just flick the blood off his hand like it was nothing. Meanwhile, you have Zhou, who portrays himself as this cold-hearted, like harsh on the outside. I'm the assassin's leader. I'm killing myself as penance. But deep down inside, he basically is doing all this because he feels sorry for an orphan. And it's like they both, at the end of the day, they both have a similar core, both Wen Kexing and Zhou, but they present themselves in very different ways on the outside. But that same core is why they are soulmates. They actually said it on the show. We're not there yet, but they... Wen Kexing actually said they're soulmates on the show. The look on his face, we're not there yet, but oh my god. I could not. So when Kexing's like, look, keep your secrets. I'm sure you have a reason for doing the things that you're doing. He's like, I know you wanted to use that large rabbit to find news about your silly disciple. He keeps calling Changling his silly disciple, which I'm like, Changling, justice for Changling. Justice for Changling in this episode. I felt so bad for him, right? And he's like, but as soon as I saw that rascal act like an idiot in front of Ajang, I was infuriated. I've already asked Ajang to play along and follow him to get into the sect. He's like, well, aren't I considerate? And he's like, well, you're just making use of Ajang's beauty. And he says, well, then when Kexing says that girls must be married off once they come of age, she'll hate me if I hold her back. I don't know about that. He likes to say that, but I think when Kexing would not just let Ajang marry anybody. And I think that's why he's like, this guy comes along and thinks that he's just going to win over Guzhang. She's my daughter. She's not just going to get married to anybody. I do think at the end of the day, though, Guzhang, if she put her foot down and was like, I'm going to be with Wei Ning, then when Kexing would be like, fine, I won't approve of it and I'll make his life hell, but okay. We'll see where that goes. So anyway, they decide. So Zhou questions whether Wen Kexing has another motive. And he's like, I'm philanthropist Wen. Didn't you know? And then he gives this speech. Because at the end of the day, Zhou Jishu is just wanting, his whole thing was he wanted to die as a beggar, to pay penance for his sins and for being responsible for the death of his clan. He wanted to just die in peace. And he is only going along with all this because he feels bad for Changling and feels responsible and he wants to help the kid. That's at the end of the day. Wen gives this speech and says that he's this philanthropist. And he's like, if I don't do something good, the irony of this, where he says, I'll feel pain all over my body if I don't help people for a couple days. And if it continues, I'll even fall sick. And that's why I travel around to find tasks to do. Wen Kexing, I am 99.9% sure, has no clue about the nails that are in Zhou's body. I'm pretty sure he has no clue about it. I think he has no clue. Because when he finds out, he's going to like have a heartbreak hotel moment. But I don't think he knows. So the irony of him saying that it'll cause him pain if he doesn't do good, juxtaposed next to him sitting beside a man who literally is feeling pain to make up for the lack of good that he did, just blow my mind. And then Zhou says, well, does this mean you're helping others to increase your own virtue? Now, if they're ghosts and they have unfinished business and they're ghosts and he's trying to like, make it to where, he's doing his good deeds, then that would add up. That would make sense. He's like, I'll never be a Buddha until hell is empty. I'm determined to save everyone. Which Zhou, of course, is like, which again, the irony is that Zhou feels he's saved no one in his sect. And here you have Wen Kexing saying, I'm going to save everyone, which is the polar opposite of what Zhou did. So I'm sure there's this guilt of Zhou being like, I don't want to tell Wen Kexing everything about myself because there's parts of me that are really ugly and that I'm not proud of. But what he doesn't realize is that Wen Kexing is probably going through the exact same thing and just handling it differently. So these two, I swear to y'all. He's like, where can you find the dwellers of hell? He says, all bright places have a dark side. The fiercest ghosts tend to disguise themselves as humans and hide in the crowd. Which is irony, because I think that's what he's doing alongside the other ghosts and Guzhang. I think that's happening all over the place. I'm here to expose their true natures and destroy them. Interesting. So there is the question, if Wen Kexing is the chief, if he is the chief of all the ghosts at Ghost Valley, did he round up all of the ghosts here to punish them? Is that what's happening? Or is he on their side? We're going to talk about Rongzhang. We're going to talk about Rongzhang when we go to the hymn meeting Gao. I'm not ready for that yet, though. But yeah. And he's like, do you think this counts as helping others to increase my own virtue? And Zhou is like, well, he just kind of looks like gentleman. What does he say there? I want him to say, what does he say there? I'm going to go back real quick because it cut off the conversation. He says, I didn't expect you to be a justice-seeking, evil-vanquishing gentleman. Which the funny thing is, that's kind of what Joe is. And when Kexing's just portraying that. Uh-huh. Thanks to his partner, which I do agree with Guzhong that being around Joe is making Wen Kexing more human. I do agree with that. So anyway, so Changling, when this kid shows up and tries to interrupt Changling was pissed. He was having none of it. He was like, I am done. Changling, this kid's pissed off face, I am living for it. I want Changling to show some more pissed off anger. I need that from him because he deserves to show it. He was like, are you seriously? He's like, I'm going to my room. I can go myself. I don't need you to walk me there. And then when he grabbed Changling's like, what did I do today to deserve this? He's like, am I a guest or a criminal? And that's when the daughter shows up. She's so pretty. I love her. And she's like, Ji Wu Yang. Okay. All right. Disciple of the Yu Yang, Ji Wu Yang. Okay. Interesting. And so then she's like, well, you can leave. I'll take care of this myself. Okay. So he finally leaves and Changling is just pissed. He's like, I really am tired of everybody trying to tell me what to do. I really don't need that. Just why can't I be? And she tries to reach him and she's like, oh, are you afraid because my father spoke fiercely to you? And Changling's like, I really don't want to talk about it with you right now. And she's like, well, if you interact with him more, you'll understand. He's got a sharp tongue, but his heart is soft. And maybe he's just a bear of a man and he's not the brightest tool. He's not the brightest crayon in the box. And he just speaks real quickly without thinking about it, but he means well. Maybe. But the vibes, the first impression vibes from Gao have not been great. Not been great. And she's like, he usually really cares for us. And it's like, And Changling's trying to be nice. He is trying not to be upset. So the Yu Yang sect, these kids practicing with this bag, they could punch a little harder. They could give a little bit more than a 60% into this. So the conifer residence, it sounds like pine cones. She's like, we've arranged for you to live there. And she's like, if you have any problems, just let me know. And she tries to pat him on the head, but he kind of like flinches. I feel bad for Changling because Changling has just been chided for how many episodes about not being man enough, not being adult enough, not being strong enough to be the leader of the Zhang sect. And he's frustrated by it. And then here comes this girl who maybe he likes, and she just ruffles his hair like he's a kid. And he's like, can you not do that? So I understand his frustration. I get it. So then they're like, oh, Sao Weining is looking for you. And she's like, oh, great. And she asks them to practice their martial arts, but she leaves him with these kids that just make fun of him right off the bat. Like, they didn't even wait 30 seconds. They were like, well, he looks like a weakling. I'm like, you weren't punching that punching bag very hard, sir. I feel so bad for Changling in this episode. Justice for Changling. Take a shot in this reaction every time I say justice for Changling. So, we have Wei Ning. He gets Guzhong into the sect. And they talk about they need to catch Feng Buji, but it's going to take some time. And so, the city of Yuyang hasn't been very peaceful recently. I like that Sao Wei Ning looks at Guzhong and then looks back at Gao's daughter and says, Miss Guzhong is a girl. I'm sure that's a weird translation, but I was just like, yes, Wei Ning. And the daughter is just like, oh, you don't say. Really? And then Guzhong's like, I love that when he's like, whenever Wei Ning says it would be inconvenient for her to be all alone, the daughter looks at Guzhong like, oh, have you scammed our poor golden retriever here? Have you scammed him? Have you taken advantage of him? And Guzhong's like, we just had drinks and food together. I'm very curious what the daughter thinks of Guzhong, right? Because her smile is very much like, oh, baby, you were manipulated and tricked by this poor girl, weren't you? I love it. He's like, Master Zhou and Wen are great warriors, Zhao's friends. They'll come to meet us soon. She goes, okay, cool. She seems a bit more cunning than she lets on. Because the way she reacts to this conversation that Wei Ning has makes me think, okay, girl, you're not as innocent as you seem. All right, I'm down. Let's see what happens. He's like, well, I think she should stay here. That if Sister Zhao Lian doesn't mind. Oh, Zhao Lian. Yeah, Zhao Lian. Can you let Miss Guzhong stay here? And Zhao Lian's like, you little cottonelle cuddled golden retriever of a man. I don't have a choice. Since you're Wei Ning's friend. I like when she says that to Guzhong. And Guzhong's like, we are drinking buddies and foodie besties. So that's not a problem at all. She says you could stay at my compound. And then Guzhong says, well, that's great. I need to go back and tell my master that I got the in. Wei Ning's friends are my friends. Guzhong's like, wonderful. So then they said, we need to prepare things for worship. There was like a weirdness to this scene. She says, why are we going to worship now? What kind of worship should I prepare for? And they said, oh, they want to take him to the worship the Five Lakes Monument. And Guzhong finds that weird. Like, why are we going to this monument to pray? Why is it happening in the middle of the day? Why is it happening so suddenly? So her red flag sensor is going off. And she's like, well, I'm going to go take care of this. Zhao Lian says that. And you help her to the compound. Apparently, Guzhong did not stick around to let the lady help her get her to her room. And so she takes off to go get things ready. Very suspicious. And Wei Ning is just smiling like a fool. But Guzhong thinks I should probably go back and tell my master about this. The Candied Hawthorn, they are really hawking that in this series, am I right? So Wen Kexing pulls out the fan as they're leaving and says, what are we doing now? And Zhou says, I think it's time we part ways because I got things to do. But Wen Kexing is not about to let him go off on his own. He's like, I'll follow you wherever you go. I liked the rainbow spiral wind chime that was in the foreground whenever he said that. I'm just going to point that out. So then Zhou's like, really? You could just let me go take care of this. And he's like, don't you have to go like do justice vigilante work and get the people out of hell? And Wen Kexing says the dwellers of hell have been happy staying there for many years. A little while longer won't hurt. I love it. I love them. I love them so much. He's like, there is no rush. He says, well, then I don't understand. Why do you keep following me? And Wen Kexing says, how do I tell this man that I'm in love with him and we're soulmates without telling him that? Because I don't want to scare him away because I don't know if he feels the same. So he just turns the question around and says, well, you allowed me to continue following you, so humans should do whatever they want. And why do you have so many questions? He says, why do you keep following Changling? And Zhou says that I've been clinging to him because I just felt sorry for him. And I get it. He doesn't have anybody in his family left. Changling doesn't have anybody in his family left. He feels for Changling. He wants to support and protect him. So, it's understandable. And so then he says, Wen Kexing says something about, you should be worried if he's with the Five Lakes Alliance. And Zhou has questioned Wen Kexing, do you not like the Five Lakes Alliance? Do you have something against them? And Wen Kexing doesn't really want to answer that question. But the answer that we all kind of know is, yeah, he's got a problem with them. So he goes, well, he's like, the cunning foxes aren't going to expose themselves too quickly. So we've got time. I'm just worried about the Five Lakes Alliance. And that's when Zhou says, well, I'm worried about them. And I think that there's, other people at play. There's a group of people that could be dangerous. And Wen Kexing's like, what are you talking about? And that's when we see the paper lanterns. And I give Gong Jun so much credit in this series because his facial expressions are amazing. But the actor playing Zhou Jishu, his expressions when he's putting two and two together and figuring out that shit's about to go down, whatever you want to call that expression, he excels at it. He excels at the, oh shit, it's about to go down face. And he gives that so well in this, being like, the window of heaven is about to take action. We got to do something. The people dressed up as government officials, we have to go and save Changling. And that's when Gu Zhang shows up. I like Wen Kexing being like, why are you back here so soon? And she's like, well, I need to talk to you. And he's like, no, say it in front. I like Wen Kexing doesn't speak to her in private because there's a weird moment here that's so fascinating. Gu Zhang wants to tell Wen Kexing about shit going down with Changling because that's what she's been assigned to do. But she also wants to keep it a secret because it's, secret me and you impossible ghost business. But we just had this scene where Wen Kexing was trying to figure out what's the deal with Zhou and why is he being so secretive. So there's this back and forth and Wen Kexing's like, you know what? He's fine with it. Let him hear. Just say what's going on. And Zhou in this moment looks at Wen Kexing like, who are you? Why is this secretive? What's your agenda? The intrigue. And she's like, okay, I was able to find my way into the Yu Yang sect. And he's like, good girl. How's the little idiot doing? And she's like, well, I got to report some urgent news first. Gao Chong wants to bring the little idiot to worship the Five Lake Monument or something. And I don't understand. It's getting dark. What is there to worship? And that's when Zhou is like, shit, things are about to go down. So they go to this monument, right? This monument is interesting. It is in what looks like a set from the Untamed. And it has all these different parts and pieces to it. There's the big monument with all the family names on it that says Five Lakes World Alliance. And then we see one that says the Mirror Lake on it, right? So there's also a drum, the Lake of the Five Continents. Okay. Then there is a sword that is above a like chalice. There's also a shrine with a lion on it. I'm so curious. I want to know more. What are each of these parts? What are the pieces? What do they represent? What is the monument? Tell us, series. And there's like there's gold dragons surrounding it. So then Gao, I love Gao like stretches out the sleeve before he has this like in very serious hand gesturing. And then Changling like bows to do the bows to the monument. He kneels down to do that and says 100 years ago, our ancestors imitated the 3 heroes of the Peach Garden. So with the Five Lakes Alliance, we have the idea that 100 years ago, there were 3 heroes of the Peach Garden. And their ancestors imitated them. Okay, that makes more sense now that we could break it down. In a bamboo forest. And they became the 5 sworn brothers. Okay. They worked together and helped each other. And they found their sex and accepted many disciples. And it created the Lakes Alliance we have today. And they built a monument here to tell their descendants that the righteousness of the 5 lakes came before the World Alliance. Okay. I mean, there's a lot of pride that Gao has in the 5 lakes and their history, correct? Which is interesting. So then, again, he gives Changling this speech about Yusin and about how people have doubted Changling and don't believe that he would be a sect leader and that he couldn't bear the responsibility. But he says, I could not agree with that. And then he grabs Changling's shoulders and explains to him when he grabs his shoulders, which is interesting because he's like, no matter what, you're the direct descendant of the Zhang family. So Gao's initial interaction with Changling contradicts what he tells him at the monument, which is he just trying to manipulate Changling so that Changling will tell him about the glazed armor if he feels he can trust him? I don't know. I don't like Gao because he seems two-faced and you can't trust him. But that goes for most of the 5 Lakes Alliance sworn brothers. And Changling is just a sweetheart. He's the best. He's just like, I'll do whatever you tell me. It's fine. But then they go off into Ambush Central. There has never been in the history of shows a more apt place to be ambushed than amongst all these cedar trees. They're like, are you out in the middle of nowhere with only a single road? Ha ha! Get ready to be ambushed by the window of heaven. Didn't even have to try. They just showed up with a bunch of crossbows and they're like, boom. So yeah, so their people got taken hostage by Han Jing. And Han Jing's like, look, I just want the glazed armor. I'm just doing my job. Han Jing is interesting because he seemed very intimidating in the meeting with Gao last episode. But then in this episode, especially once he starts talking to Zhou, he's not as intimidating anymore. It's just like, oh yeah, you got stuck with this job after Zhou left. Aha, interesting. I have a whole different view of him. He does not seem as intimidating or dickish as he did last week. So, of course, then when Kexing and them are debating on what to do, and Zhou is like, I cannot let Changling get taken or hurt. And of course, Zhou knows how serious the window of heaven is and how dangerous they are. So he's like, I need to rescue them now. And he pulls out his little, I will say, I know that it's what they had to use. And I'm sure in the book, it will be maybe a little different. But those veils that they wore on their faces were the thinnest veils of all the veils that has ever veiled. But it's fine. I mean, I'm glad Han Jing saw through it and was like, oh, it's you. And it's like, of course. So when Kexing is saying, whoa, wait, why are you going to go rescue him? Are you crazy? When Kexing's weakness is that he doesn't want Zhou to get hurt. And he doesn't want Zhou. I'm like, I think when Kexing is figuring out that Zhou is a strong fighter, and I think he's figuring out he might be, the former leader of the Window of Heaven and a master assassin, but he still doesn't want Zhou to get hurt. When he finds out about the damn nails, it's going to be heartbreaking. He's going to be heartbroken when he finds out because he doesn't want Zhou to get hurt. And Zhou's like, well, I'm already dying, so can't get much worse. Oh my gosh, y'all. And Zhou's like, well, this is none of your business. I can do it. And when Kexing's like, let's take our time. Let's think this through. Let's draw their attention. And he's like, a man can't fend them off no matter how good your martial art tricks are. There's no way that you can beat them. And then he's like, what? You can't stop crossbows. And the funny thing is when Zhou's like, you can't stop a crossbow and you're not strong enough to defeat them. When Kexing has a smile on his face, like, well, actually, I'm a ghost king, so yes, I can. But he also says, in that moment, a gentleman is willing to die for his soulmate. What? And so then, what if I risk this for you? And Zhou is completely not paying attention. And I'm like, Zhou, you really need to pay attention because he just said he was your soulmate and he would die for you. He's like, I'll distract the crossbow and you capture the guy. And when Kexing's like, did you listen to me tell you I'm your soulmate? Ah! So he goes in there like freaking the road runner, running around all of them, dodging everything to get Changling. And when Kexing steps in to capture Han Jing, everybody is told to leave. The hostages are saved. They head off, and then they step aside to question Han Jing, which... crisis averted, the easiest crisis averted. And then we have this scene where Han Jing recognizes him. He recognizes Zhou Jishu immediately. Like that, I give his actor some credit. Han Jing's actor, the way that he looked at Zhou, the acting, the eye acting, oh my God. So of course when Kexing's like, well, why are you guys looking at each other like this? And the thing about it is, because when Kexing says little officer, like what a slander, little officer. Even when Han Jing says his name, when Kexing refuses to acknowledge it, it's like, oh, you're jealous, sir. You are jealous. But he says, control those eyes of yours. And the thing is, do I think Han Jing has a crush on Zhou Jishu? Well, maybe. Who doesn't? But Zhou Jishu doesn't have a crush on Han Jing, right? And we all know this. But there's also, regardless of if there's a crush there or not, the fact of the matter is that Zhou is known by the Window of Heaven as a man that gave up his own life on behalf and paying penance to the sect and his people that were killed, and then left the window of heaven to die, and they all have such respect for him that that's what this is. But when Kexing thinks he has a crush on him, he's like, excuse me. He's like, I abducted you. Why are you staring at him? And Han Jing's like, because that's my lord. And then when Kexing's like, wait, what? What is that? When Kexing's entire world suddenly did a 180 the moment that Han Jing like bows down to him. Yep. Why are you here? And I love the blinking, the meme blink that when Kexing does. Why aren't you disguising yourself? How is your injury? Now, the moment he said, how is your injury? I wondered if when Kexing took stock of that and is filing that away, or if he was too shocked in the moment to take note. And Zhou saying, I've had enough of hiding myself for years. And when Kexing is trying to figure all of this out, going, what is going on? He's piecing together everything that is happening, which is interesting. And Zhou said, yeah, I had to take desperate measures. This way you can give your subordinates an explanation. And so then Han Jing says that Zhou saved his life. So as long as you ask it of me, I'm willing to risk everything without hesitation to fulfill your orders. Which, look, as if when Kexing needed a reason to love Zhou, but Zhou has garnered the respect of everyone around him. So, of course, when Kexing is like, you're this commendable man. I mean, you're very honorable, sir. And I like he tries to, like, cough to clear the air, saying, should I leave? Should I leave you two alone? If Zhou had said yes, I think it would have completely crushed when Kexing's spirits. I think when Kexing was testing the waters to be like, oh, do you guys need some time alone? Is this a thing? Am I interrupting? I don't know. Don't let me leave. And so I feel like if Zhou had let him leave, it would have been like the end. He would have spiraled. So then he says, I saw the window of heaven's mechanical sparrow and the drunk life dream death. Then I saw you all communicating in secret code, and I thought you all were coming at me. I didn't expect the window of heaven is looking for the glazed armor. So Han Jing says that everything is spread, and yes, they are, ever since the nursery rhyme was a thing, that Jin has sent them to go find it. And again, Zhou is the only one. Zhou is the only one out of all of them who thinks the whole glazed armor thing is not a big deal. He is the only one out of everyone. I mean, Wen Kexing kind of says that it is, but Zhou is the only one who actively believes the glazed armor is not a thing. And everyone else is convinced that it is, which is just so wild to me. So Han Jing, when he says, I don't know why we're taking action, I do genuinely believe Han Jing. Of all the people that say they don't know things in this series, I do believe he's just acting on orders because Jin told him to. I think that that's legit. I just know that Duan Pengzhu cares about the glazed armor very much and will do practically anything for it. And he tries to, like, ask Zhou if he wants him to investigate. And Zhou's like, no, forget you saw me. Let's just pretend this never happened. He says, I put you in danger, and this was my last resort. So, you know, the few of you who joined are now alive because of me. As long as you live well, that's your greatest loyalty to me. I feel a little bad for Wen Kexing, because Wen Kexing genuinely loves Zhou for reasons that we don't fully know yet, but he loves him with all of his heart and thinks he's his soulmate. And Zhou is kind to everyone around except Wen Kexing. And it's like, whether it's denial or he just doesn't understand Wen Kexing and he doesn't trust him fully, it is like, it is just, oh my God, I cannot, y'all. He says, little officer, you're my lord's friend. And he's like, you can call me Han Jing. And then he says, little officer. Wen Kexing's like, cool, nice name, little officer. Just completely ignores it. Why did you ask for the orphan from Gaochang? The Mirror Lake sect was exterminated by the hanging ghost. The glazed armor should be with the Ghost Valley. Why would you torment a child from the Zhang family? And then he goes, well, as a matter of fact, the window of heaven had a spy. And the spy witnessed with his own eyes that people from the Ghost Valley killed the father and sons of the Zhang family, and one after another forced them to hand over the glazed armor. But Yushin didn't surrender until death, so the glazed armor must be with the son who escaped. And Wen Kexing says, Now, do we think Wen Kexing knows the truth of where that glazed armor is? I don't know. And he goes, okay. Well, the old foxes in the martial arts world are sensitive. Even if they don't know about this incident, they must know when the Ghost Valley went to the mountain, they're hoping to abduct Zhang Changling. It was basically a hint that the case of the Mirror Lake Sword is not yet ended. And so Zhou says, I like that Wen Kexing says, oh, well, Changling is also the new disciple of... he says he's the new disciple of Zhou, and Zhou says Lao Wen. Zhou dropped his guard immediately and was like, hey, and he called him Lao Wen a lot in this, which I was like he dropped his guard quite a bit and was like, excuse me, don't say that, don't give it away. And now Han Jing knows that they're acquaintances. And Zhou's like, please don't say anything about it. Act as usual. Pretend like these aren't the former assassins you're looking for. There's no need to take hasty action. The Five Lakes Alliance will definitely force Changling to hand over the glazed armor before the Heroes Conference. So I don't know where exactly Bougie went to, but they started to figure out that there was more than one piece of glazed armor that had been scattered. That started to happen during this episode, right? And so as he's looking through and seeing that, someone comes into the room. We don't get to see who it is, but they killed him. So they poisoned him and killed him. And it wasn't Wen Kexing. It wasn't Han Jing. It wasn't the Window of Heaven. So was it the assassins? Are there assassins within the sect? Was it a ghost that killed Bougie? We don't know. Mysteries upon mysteries. So then as this fire is burning, because these two love a good fire, a good campsite fire, Wen Kexing comes up to him after Han Jing has left and says, first the Window of Heaven, then the Lord of a mountain villa. What kind of man am I following? What kind of man am I secretly stalking? And Zhou says, just thank you for what you've done. And I like that Wen Kexing says, you can thank me by answering the question. That will be my thanks. Why would a man of high status in the Window of Heaven go sunbathing in Yuzhou? Why were you trying to have fun with the common people? I think that there's a little part of this that Wen Kexing is kind of playing with Zhou, because Wen Kexing, who is, I presume to be the ghost chief, has hung around with the common people. And maybe that's where he found a connection with Zhou at first, because he saw them as kindred spirits. And he's like, you and I both have some prestigious backstory, but we're both interacting with the common people, so are we the same? And Zhou said, I left the Window of Heaven. Now, Wen Kexing's smile fades at that, and I don't know if it's because he sees how serious Zhou is in that moment, or if he knows what that means, or that it's not possible. He's like, Lao Wen, I owe you a favor. He called him Lao Wen again. And when he says he owes him a favor, Wen Kexing says, rather you owe me an explanation instead. He says, Aju, do you want me to believe that you would do all of this just to pay back for that one man? And Zhou's like, I kind of do feel bad for him. I fulfilled my promise. He's like, I was gonna leave Changling, but then I saw he was in danger from all sides and I could relate to him, so I just couldn't let it go. He said, I just couldn't stay and do nothing. And the way Wen Kexing looks at him, the way that he looks at him, treat it as a charity case, maybe 100. And it felt like at that moment, he was trying to connect back to the 100 lives that he had lost, that he'd killed, but he couldn't quite go there, and so he stopped. Maybe after I visit with Lord Yama, the ruler of the underworld, may I suffer less from the pain of tendon and skin peeling. Basically saying I'm trying to like repent. Maybe I'm helping Changling to repent. And that's the reason why I'm doing the things that I'm doing. And when Kexing says, friends for generations sabotage and deceive each other, but a newly acquainted strangers entrust each other with their lives. Isn't that interesting? But then he says, Aju. What does he say there? You truly aren't. He says, are you not related to the Five Lakes Alliance in any way? Right? I feel like when Kexing is planning something against the Five Lakes Alliance, all of Ghost Valley is possibly. And he wants to make sure that Zhao is not involved with any of that. Because he's like, I'm about to like wreck this place. Are you related to any of this drama? And Zhou's like, why? Do you hate the Five Lakes Alliance? Do you have a grudge against them? And when Kexing doesn't answer the question, which is suspicious and kind of indicative that yes, he does have a grudge against them. So then Zhou says, I have a question for you. The day when the Mirror Lake Manor, what does he say there? The day that the Mirror Lake Manor was under attack, was it pure coincidence that you appeared on the island, or were you involved in it? And when Kexing is saying, well, it was no pure coincidence. I love that he leans in, like he gets as close as he can without making Zhou uncomfortable. It was not really a coincidence. Oh, the two of them staring at each other. Oh. And then he laughs and says, I was following you, so of course I showed up. Didn't you say we would meet if we were fated? I didn't want to wait for fate to be gifted by the heavens, so I took the initiative. And I like that Zhou says, look, you can quit bullshitting. I'm asking you because I see you as a friend. And then when Kexing says, you see me as a friend, and at first I thought, oh, well, isn't that good? You're not just an acquaintance, you're a friend? You mean, because it's kind of escalated at first when Kexing was like, we're best friends, and Zhou was like, no, we're just acquaintances, you're a stranger, I don't even know you. And as it's gone on, when Kexing's like, well, aren't we friends? And now Zhou is saying, yes, yeah, we're friends. I'm asking you as a friend. I trust you as a friend. And so then Zhou just kind of sighs as if, yeah, we're friends. And when Kexing says, we've been through so many, thick and thin so many times already, but you only see me as a friend. When Kexing, seems you have to work harder. Oh, he's like, if you only see me as a friend, I'm not trying hard enough. And then he says, why don't you ask me what I see you as? But Zhou doesn't want to. Zhou says, I don't care. He can't stand it because I think Zhou knows. I think Zhou knows if he asks him when Kexing will tell him. And he's not ready for that yet. He's like, no. He's like, we're about to leave the mountain. He's like, I don't want to know how you see me. I see you as a friend. Let's go. So then he moves past him. And in that moment, when Kexing becomes the most precious, beautiful creature in the world, when he turns around as he walks away and says, you're my soulmate. And I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? How does he know already? How does he know they're soulmates? Did he just search all this time to find him? I need to know, show. Why are we only on episode 8? Ah, my heart. So anyway, they go in to search and they're looking for, okay, so they go back. I guess they're the ones that were taken back to look in. They were the ones that were taken hostage by the window of heaven. They get back and find, okay, they found him, but I'm guessing the glazed armor pieces were stolen by whoever poisoned him. Maybe. Possibly. It looks like the glazed armor is gone off the table, so somebody's already taken it. Are they the spoils on the table? So somebody might have killed him and took the stuff. He's very cunning. Who was so competent as to find him before we did? I don't know. So then we have the scene where they go through and get all of the goods. Wen Kexing is a lovesick puppy dog. He is in love with Zhou. He wants to like get him food and like spoil him. It's so cute. It's kind of adorable. It reminds me a lot of Modao Zushi, except the roles are kind of different. Whereas usually it's weird to me. It's like if Lan Wangji had the mischievous flirtatiousness of Wei Wuxian. It was just so bizarre, but I love it. And that's kind of Wen Kexing. Wen Kexing is just being so cute and flirty, trying to like, you know, be kind around Zhou and get on his good side. And he keeps making Zhou pay. And Zhou's like, he's like, why are you trying to make me pay for everything? Where's your wallet? And I like that Wen Kexing is like, look, this isn't a lot of money to spend. You've been really nice to other people and offering a lot of money. So why can't you be that way to me? So he's like, let's go over here and see this exotic dance, the troupe from the western regions. He says it's a rare chance, once in a lifetime. He says shape-shifting humans. Why are they cutting a pretty lady with knives? I love that Wen Kexing, he gets to be like such a child when he's like, why are they doing that? Don't you want to go see? Oh my God. Like there's such a childlike innocence to Wen Kexing that you know is kind of manufactured, but also is kind of genuine. I love him. I love him. So yeah, they're trying to convince people to come in and see. He's like, I've never seen this before. We should go look. And Zhou goes, really? Really, you want to go in and see it? I'm treating you on this date for real. And when Kexing says, you know, Fang Bougie might be inside, we should go see. And then he drags him in. Uh-huh. So they have the table and they're doing this dance, right? All these ladies are doing their dancing. I'm very curious to see if any of them are the assassins. I don't know if they are or not, but the one person playing the zither kind of reminds me of the one assassin. I love when Kexing being like, yeah, look at this dance. And Zhou looks over to him and kind of smiles like you're such a goose. I love him smiling. It's so cute. But yeah, very curious about the assassins. I definitely think since the purple scorpions or the scorpions are kind of like musically themed, I feel like there's something to that. Anyway, so the dancers all do their little dance and everything. And then we have the box brought out that they're going to do the knife cutting of the woman, right? Interesting. So yeah, this zither. I feel like Zhou started to figure out something seemed familiar about the zither. I think it's the assassin. One of them. I think it's one of the assassins. What trick does he have? So they bring out this box with the swords, right? And then they open up the door. And then she gets put inside. Right? They spin it around so you can't see any tricks. I like when Kexing is so serious. He's so like, oh wow, there's a magic trick. Look, Zhou, what are they going to do? But then they put her in the box, right? They did not want to show the gore in this scene at all. They were very much keeping it to where you didn't see all of the gore. But they stick the swords in. There's no blood from inside the swords at all. When Kexing looks so concerned. And then they flip the swords around. I even like that when Kexing's like, he like claps along too, like he's so enamored and captured by the moment. And Zhou's like, I don't trust any of this. So then they take the swords out, right? And as they're about to open it up and everyone's clapping, then these banisters drop, right? From the ceiling. And the banisters say, congratulations on the upcoming Heroes Conference of the Five Lakes Alliance. If not me, who deserves to become the martial arts supreme leader? Which is tied to the glazed armor, correct? And then Zhou's like, what is this? And then when they open up the door, all these heads come out. Literally all these heads fly out. Of people chopped up. Here are 10 human heads representing the Ghost Valley's goodwill. And when Keshing looks at that going, because you have the 10 ghosts of the Ghost Valley. Okay. And then the Zither player's gone. And then they show up. Interesting. But Junior Brother Way. Oh, okay. Not good, Cotton. So, interesting. So among the 10 killed was Junior Brother Way. Was his name up here? Was he important? I feel like there's been a lot of names brought up, which we shall see. I think it is important to note that Hanjing does know Zhou is here and that he's alive and well and working in this situation. I don't think that's going to stay a secret at all. And they say we'll bring the bad guys to justice. I like when Keshing smirking at that, like, sure you will. Sure you'll bring the bad guys to justice. They seem to wield even more power than the government officials here, protecting and keeping the peace. Supreme Leader Gao hasn't even passed away. Why are they making him out to be an immortal? Yeah, and they make note that the Yu Yang sect is really heavily guarded. Interesting. And Zhou says, I didn't expect the Ghost Valley would be able to wreak such havoc. And the thing about it is when Keshing smirks at all of that, and I can't decide if, we were going to find out, but a part of me thinks when Keshing is in full belief that it's not the Ghost Valley doing all of these actions. Like, the Ghost Valley's doing shit. Don't get me wrong. But I don't think they're doing this. I feel like when Keshing is like, yeah, the ghosts in the Ghost Valley, they do, they enact their justice the way that they would. But I feel like the assassins, the Scorpions, are imitating the Ghost Valley to frame them so that the Five Lakes Alliance will target the Ghost Valley and not even see the Scorpions coming. That's what I think it is, but it's either that or when Keshing is like, oh, you didn't expect the ghosts to be able to wreak such havoc? Oh, let me tell you. Like, it's one of those two. It's one of those two. Or it could be both. Who knows? But yeah, and then when Keshing says this move has slapped him hard on the face. He's lost his reputation. Ghost Valley made such a great effort solely to humiliate Yu Yang sect. Do you believe me when I say this is just the start? So maybe when Keshing is all in for the ghosts targeting the Lake Valley, the Five Lakes Alliance, I mean. So anyway, they managed to go back because he wants to check on Shangling. They go back and he says this will be a perfect opportunity to pay our well wishes to the benevolent Iron Judge, Gao Chong. The Iron Judge, interesting. All the maple leaves. I instantly think of Heaven Official's Blessing when we see them. So they go back. And so we find out Junior Brother Wei, he's been killed. Youngge, my son, I'll take revenge for you. The GD Ghost Valley, the Heartless Demons. So yeah, they didn't want to show us those heads on that banner, but they brought them out. So yeah. And then everybody's piss talking. Everybody's shit talking. Everybody is shit talking the Ghost Valley. How could they be so defiant? I think the Ghost Valley is overestimating itself. No matter how fierce the ghosts are in Mount Qingya, how could they dare go against the entire martial arts world? But they already have. And then I like Xiaojing is like, hey guys, I like Xiaojing is the only person that's like, hey guys, let's calm down. The unrighteous actions of the Ghost Valley will bring its own downfall. I don't know. The Ghost Valley is pretty intimidating and terrifying. Okay. Of course Shinshin swears. He's like, don't let this hurt your health. I swear, like Shinshin would swear on anything if he could. I'll make the Ghost Valley pay back tenfold. And Gao's like, tenfold, really? You can barely hold a gallon of liquor, sir. And then I love, he's like, this is an extreme disgrace. If I can't demolish the Ghost Valley, how could I continue living in this universe? I don't know. Again, I'm torn whether this is the Essence or another group trying to frame the Ghost Valley and set them up as scapegoats, or if the Ghost Valley is actually wanting the Five Lakes Alliance to get worked up and come at them and it be a trap. I can't decide which I believe. I think it's one of those two, but I can't decide yet. An eye for an eye. So then that's right when Keshing shows up with Zhou. And then they all come out to meet them. Uh-huh. And I like Shin Shin when he meets back up with Keshing is like, hey, we were looking for you, bros. And you guys came to find us. And when Keshing is like, oh, you were looking for me? I'm so surprised and flattered. And they're like, stop acting. The incident Song by Mountain happened and you all just left. What do you mean? And when Keshing's like, well, I wanted to make out with him, but he wasn't up for it. So, apologies for our rudeness. They're like, this didn't seem like the time or place for us to be here. I like when Keshing said, I left you all a note. It's like when someone's like, I texted you. I left the party, but I texted you. Why didn't you answer your text messages? Wen Kexing, my dude. Well, anyway, then Gao shows up. Because they're like, are you blaming us for the theft on your villa? And Zhao Jing's like, oh, no, I wouldn't blame y'all for the theft. It was just a misunderstanding. They're benefactors of the Five Lakes Alliance. Why are you randomly suspecting them? And that's the moment Gao says benefactors, Wen Kexing's fan stops moving. Like, all eyes immediately go to Gao. And he shows up. Uh-huh. And brought him all the way to my house. Yeah, they've helped a lot. This is such an interesting scene. Because Gao looks him up and down. And Wen Kexing looks like he wants to light him on fire with his eyes. It's so interesting. Like, he's just glaring him down. And he's like, do you know me, Master Wen? And he says, oh, well, Iron Judge Gao Chong, your name is very famous. It's not strange to know you. It would be an honor if you knew me. Oh. He's like, do you recognize me? That moment there, he's like, don't you know who I am? Haven't you seen me before? What? Because he says, I don't know you. I don't remember you. And of course, when Keshing's like, oh, of course you wouldn't. Mm-hmm. How'd you know my brother Yusin? And then he says, oh, thank you for the escort. We'll remember your kindness. Uh-huh. And when Zhou looks over at Wen Kexing, he's like, why is he looking so strangely at him? Uh-huh. What is the relationship between Gao Chong and him? Uh-huh. Uh-huh. And when Kexing says, I didn't have the honor to know Zhang, I was only being righteous and it was just fate. We came here to visit Changling. And they're like, oh, well, he's got a cold. He fell down some stairs. He's not feeling good. Uh-huh. And so then Gao's like, Master Wen, your full name is... And then he hesitates for a second, says Wen, but he spells it out each syllable. He says Wen Kexing. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. And then Zhao Jing is like, well, we forgot to ask what sect you're from. Now, here's the thing. He says he's not from a sect. And Zhou instantly goes, that seems suspicious. My father taught me some crude martial arts skills. And I've trained them casually. So then they ask who his dad is. He raised such a heroic young man. Who must he be? And the way when Kexing doesn't smile, he doesn't smile at all. He does not have the jovial, charming reaction. He actually looks absolutely sad and terrified. And from the coffin house, we know that when the guy turned around and said, I'm your dad, Wen Kexing had a very visceral reaction to that. So he says, my father was an ordinary, unsophisticated man. He couldn't even be considered an intelligent man. Here's my theory, and I could be 1,000 times wrong. I wonder if Wen Kexing is Rongzhan's son. I thought at the beginning it was Rongzhan, but what if he's Rongzhan's son? And 20 years ago, the Five Lakes Alliance, led by this man, defeated Rongzhan and took the glazed armor from him. What if they tricked Rongzhan? What if they tried to make a deal with him and it was all a trick and then they killed him? What if Wen Kexing saw his father die at the hands of this man and swore revenge? What if they killed him? What if Wen Kexing took his mother's name instead of Rong? I just feel like his dad is Rongzhan and he's the one that was killed by the Five Lakes Alliance for the glazed armor. And because he was manipulated and tricked by them, that's why he says he couldn't be considered an intelligent man. Or maybe that line is something that Gao said to his father as he killed him, being like, you're unintelligent or you're not worthy of whatever. That's my theory. I could be wrong. It's been many years since he passed away. 20 years, in fact. And he's like, you great warriors have been busy, so how would you remember someone like him? I think it is. I could be wrong. But it has to do with the battle of 20 years ago. Whoever his dad is has something to do with this battle. I guarantee it. So then, of course, somebody shows up and they're like, why are you panicking? What's the deal? And they're like, we found another corpse. And the body's already been carried out there. I feel like as this episode ends, that it's the body of Bougie, and we're about to get into all of that. But oh my God. Oh, I talked for an hour and a half about this episode. This episode 6, 7, and 8. They just keep getting better. Anyway. Oh my God. Wen Kexing, I am in love with him. I love him so much. I love Zhou. Zhou Jishu is great. Zhou Jishu, he is a sweetheart. Changling, justice for Changling. Guzhang, Wei Ning, they're wonderful. But I honestly cannot tell you all how hard it is for me not to binge this series. I'm having to wait and it's very difficult. But I hope you all enjoyed this reaction and discussion. I know you all can't spoil me. Thank you for not spoiling me. But I'm very curious to know your general thoughts about this episode down below. In the meantime, I hope you all have a wonderful week. Please stay safe. Take care. And I'll be back next week with episode 9 of Word of Honor.